I want to talk about something that goes beyond talent, beyond luck, beyond what you see on social media today. It's about working hard in silence. There's a power in staying quiet and letting your actions, not your words, define you. See, too many people want to announce every little step they take, every small accomplishment, as if the world needs to see their grind. But let me tell you something, the loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. True strength comes when you don't need the world to clap for you. Because the world doesn't owe you applause, you owe yourself discipline, focus, and resilience. When you work in silence, you're building something solid, brick by brick. There's no room for shortcuts, no place for empty words. You're creating a foundation that no one can shake, a legacy that will outlive you. You don't need to shout about it, because when the results come, they'll be loud enough. People think success is about showing off, but real success, it's humble. It doesn't boast, it just shines. Michael Jordan didn't walk into the court bragging about being the greatest. He showed up, put in the work, and left the crowd speechless. Success doesn't need a microphone, it has its own voice. And you have to embrace the silence. That's where the growth happens. That's where you develop grit. Nobody's watching, nobody's clapping, and that's when most people quit. But you keep going. You keep pushing because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you, for the dream, for the purpose that only you understand. So don't let the noise of the world distract you. Keep your head down, focus on the process, and trust the grind. And when the time comes, when you've built something undeniable, the world will see it. And they'll know. They'll know without you having to say a single word. Work hard in silence. Let the success roar. In a world that often celebrates instant gratification, it's easy to get caught up in chasing applause rather than focusing on the process. The process is where true growth happens, but it's often overlooked because it isn't glamorous, doesn't bring immediate recognition, and requires relentless discipline. However, those who understand the value of the journey over the destination know that the applause will come naturally, if it even matters at all, when the work speaks for itself. To focus on the process means committing to the small, daily tasks that push you closer to your goals, even when nobody is watching. It's waking up every morning and putting in the effort, whether it's in the gym, at your desk, or in your craft. The process isn't just a checklist of actions, it's a mindset. It's about being present in the moment, fully engaged with what you're doing, and giving your best effort regardless of the outcome. The truth is, applause can be fleeting. People's praise is often shallow and temporary, based on what's visible rather than what's meaningful. If you let external validation guide your actions, you risk losing sight of your deeper purpose. Chasing applause is like running after shadows. It leads nowhere, and in the end, it leaves you empty. But when you focus on the process, you're investing in something lasting: your skills, your character, and your integrity. These are things no one can take from you. Consider the artists, athletes, and innovators who have changed the world. Their greatness wasn't born from seeking applause, it came from their dedication to their craft. Think about someone like Serena Williams. She didn't become a tennis legend by focusing on winning the crowd. She became one by relentlessly training, studying her opponents, and improving her game day in and day out. The applause came later as a byproduct of the work she had already done. The process is often lonely, and that's where its power lies. When you strip away the noise of recognition, you're left with the raw, unfiltered truth of your effort. Are you really giving it your all, or are you cutting corners? Are you willing to do the hard, uncelebrated work, or are you waiting for someone to validate your potential? These are the questions you confront when you focus on the process. It's in the silence of the grind that you find out who you really are. Working without seeking applause also builds resilience. When your motivation comes from within, you're less likely to falter when the going gets tough. External validation is fickle, it disappears the moment you face failure or criticism. But when you're driven by the process, Failure becomes just another step forward. You learn from it, adapt, and keep moving. You're not working for others' approval, so their criticism doesn't derail you. The process also teaches patience, one of the most underrated virtues in today's fast-paced world. Everyone wants overnight success, but anything worth achieving takes time. Whether you're mastering a skill, building a business, or pursuing a personal goal, progress is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, plateaus, and moments when it feels like you're moving backward. But if you stay committed to the process, trusting that each step is bringing you closer to your goal, you'll eventually see the results of your efforts. One of the greatest gifts of focusing on the process is the deep sense of fulfillment it brings. When you're fully engaged in your work, you experience a kind of flow that's hard to describe. You're not thinking about the end result or whether people will notice what you're doing. You're simply immersed in the act of creation, problem solving, or learning. This state of flow is where some of life's richest experiences are found. Moreover, the process is where you develop character. It's in the hours of practice, the moments of doubt, and the struggles that you shape the person you're becoming. Applause doesn't build character, it often inflates ego. But the process humbles you. It reminds you that growth is never easy, and that real success is about who you become along the way, not just what you achieve. Another important aspect of focusing on the process is that it allows you to maintain control. Applause is external and unpredictable. You can't force people to recognize your efforts or appreciate your work. But the process is entirely within your control. You can choose how much effort to put in, how disciplined to be, and how to respond to challenges. This sense of agency is empowering because it shifts your focus from what you can't control to what you can. When you're focused on the process, you're also more likely to find joy in small victories. Instead of waiting for a big moment of recognition, you celebrate the progress you're making each day. Maybe it's nailing a difficult piece of music, hitting a personal record in the gym, or finally understanding a complex concept. These small wins add up over time, and they keep you motivated to keep going. Focusing on the process doesn't mean you shouldn't set goals or dream big. Goals are important because they give you direction. But once you set your sights on where you want to go, the key is to shift your attention to the daily steps required to get there. The goals are the destination, but the process is the vehicle that will take you there. It's also worth noting that focusing on the process doesn't mean ignoring feedback or constructive criticism. There's a difference between seeking applause and valuing input that helps you grow. When you're process-oriented, you're open to learning and improving, not because you're chasing approval, but because you're committed to excellence. Ultimately, the greatest successes often come to those who are too busy working to seek applause. Their work speaks for itself, and the recognition they receive is a reflection of their dedication, not their need for validation. These individuals understand that the applause is temporary, but the skills, habits, and character they've built through the process will serve them for a lifetime. So focus on the process, not the applause. Embrace the grind, the solitude, and the silence. Show up every day, do the work, and trust that the results will come. And even if the applause never arrives, you'll have something far more valuable, the knowledge that you gave it your all, became the best version of yourself, and stayed true to your purpose. That, in itself, is the greatest reward. In a world filled with noise, where everyone seems eager to announce their achievements, proclaim their intentions, or broadcast their ambitions, there is something profoundly powerful about staying silent and letting your results do the talking. Actions, after all, carry weight. Words often dissipate like smoke. When you choose to let your results speak louder than your words, you're embracing a mindset that values substance over style, discipline over distraction, and achievement over mere declarations. There's an undeniable respect that comes with results. When you consistently deliver, you don't need to explain yourself, defend your efforts, or seek validation. Your accomplishments stand as undeniable proof of your hard work, skill, and dedication. Words can be manipulated, promises can be broken, but results are concrete. They speak a language that everyone understands, a language that doesn't need interpretation or embellishment. Too often, people fall into the trap of talking too much about what they're going to do, laying out grand plans and lofty dreams for others to hear. While there's nothing wrong with having big dreams, oversharing them can lead to wasted energy. When you spend too much time talking about your goals, you're expending the same energy that could be used to make progress. And when the time comes to deliver, empty words and unfulfilled promises can undermine your credibility. Choosing to focus on producing results doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals or share your vision with others. But it means shifting your energy from speaking about what you want to do to actually doing it. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and staying consistent, even when no one is watching. The people who truly succeed in life aren't the ones constantly announcing their plans. They're the ones quietly working behind the scenes, honing their craft, and perfecting their skills. Consider the athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders who have left a lasting legacy. They didn't waste time boasting about their potential or seeking validation for their efforts. Instead, they allowed their results to do the talking. Look at someone like Usain Bolt. He didn't spend his time before a race telling the world he was the fastest man alive. He proved it by breaking records and leaving his competitors in the dust. His results spoke for him in a way no words ever could. Letting your results speak louder than your words also builds trust and respect. People admire those who follow through on their commitments and produce tangible outcomes. When your actions consistently align with your promises, you establish a reputation for reliability and integrity. In contrast, those who talk more than they deliver often find themselves losing credibility over time. Talk is cheap, but results are priceless. They're the currency of credibility. There's also a sense of humility that comes with letting your results do the talking. You're not seeking attention or applause, you're focused on the work itself. This humility can be disarming in a world where self-promotion often feels relentless. It sets you apart as someone who values action over appearance, someone who prioritizes real achievement over superficial recognition. When you let results speak louder than words, you're also setting an example for others. Your work ethic, discipline, and ability to deliver inspire those around you. You become a role model not because you talk about what you're going to do, but because you show what's possible through your actions. This kind of leadership is far more powerful than any speech or proclamation could ever be. Another benefit of focusing on results is that it allows you to maintain your focus. When you're not concerned about broadcasting your progress or seeking external validation, you can devote all your energy to the task at hand. This level of focus can lead to higher quality work and greater efficiency. It also helps you stay grounded, as you're not distracted by the opinions or expectations of others. Letting your results speak louder than words doesn't mean you shouldn't celebrate your achievements or share your success with others. There's a time and place for that. But it means you don't need to seek validation through constant self-promotion. The people who matter, the ones who recognize and appreciate real effort, will see your results without you having to announce them. In many ways, results are a reflection of your character. They reveal your ability to persevere, your willingness to put in the hard work, and your commitment to excellence. They show that you're not afraid of challenges and that you have the discipline to see things through to the end. These are qualities that can't be faked or fabricated. They can only be demonstrated through action. It's also worth noting that results don't always have to be massive or groundbreaking to matter. Sometimes the small wins speak volumes. Completing a project, improving a skill, or making progress on a long-term goal are all results that reflect your dedication and hard work. Over time, these small victories add up, creating a track record of success that speaks for itself. Letting your results speak louder than words is about adopting a mindset of quiet confidence. You don't need to shout about your abilities or seek constant approval because you know your work will speak for itself. And when the results come, whether it's a promotion, a personal achievement, or recognition from others, they'll carry a weight that no amount of words could ever convey. Choose to focus on the work, the effort, and the process. Stay disciplined, stay humble, and let your results be your voice. They will say everything that needs to be said, and they will do so with a power and authenticity that words can never match. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that prizes noise, where loudness is equated with strength and constant activity with productivity. But true strength, enduring, unshakable strength, is often forged in silence. It's in those quiet moments away from the crowd that we discover our resilience, build our character, and prepare ourselves for challenges that lie ahead. Silence isn't weakness, it's a foundation. It's where clarity, focus, and discipline are born. In silence, you are left alone with your thoughts, your goals, and your truths. There are no distractions, no applause, and no external pressures shaping your path. This solitude allows you to confront yourself in an honest way. Are you making excuses? Are you avoiding the hard work? Silence strips away the pretense and forces you to face your doubts and fears head on. It is in this confrontation that real strength begins to take root. When you embrace silence, you step away from the noise of the world, the comparisons, the opinions, and the expectations that can so easily derail you. In a culture driven by constant validation and instant gratification, silence becomes a sanctuary. It provides the space to reflect, to recalibrate, and to focus entirely on your growth. Without the pressure to perform for an audience, you can dedicate yourself fully to the work that matters most. Strength built in silence is durable because it isn't reliant on external validation. It doesn't crumble under criticism or fade when the applause stops. It's a strength that comes from knowing who you are and what you're capable of, regardless of what anyone else says or thinks. This self-reliance is powerful because it allows you to keep going even when the world seems indifferent or unsupportive. Think about the way diamonds are formed. They don't emerge into brilliance overnight, nor do they form under soft conditions. It takes immense pressure and time for carbon to transform into one of the hardest substances on Earth. This process happens deep within the Earth, far away from sight, in complete silence. The strength you build in your life follows a similar path. It's not about the noise or the spectacle, it's about enduring, growing, and transforming in those unseen, quiet moments. Silence also teaches patience, an underrated but essential component of strength. It's easy to get swept up in the rush to achieve or the need to prove yourself immediately. But silence reminds you that growth takes time. It allows you to slow down, to focus on steady progress rather than quick results. In this patience, you find the discipline to stick with your efforts, even when the results aren't immediately visible. There's also a mental toughness that develops when you learn to thrive in silence. Many people struggle with quiet because it forces them to confront discomfort, whether it's self-doubt, fear, or uncertainty. But when you learn to sit with these feelings, to process them without distraction, you become stronger. You learn how to navigate challenges from a place of calm and clarity rather than reacting impulsively. In silence, you can listen more intently to yourself, to the lessons life is teaching you, and to the wisdom that often gets drowned out by noise. Strength isn't just physical or external, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. And these deeper forms of strength require stillness to cultivate. You can't rush understanding, self-awareness, or resilience. These things are built in moments of reflection and quiet perseverance. Consider the stories of people who have achieved great things. Their success often stems from the work they did in silence. They didn't boast about their efforts or seek recognition along the way. Instead, they dedicated themselves to their craft, endured setbacks without fanfare, and emerged stronger because of their quiet determination. The strength they built in those silent moments became the foundation for their success. Silence also allows you to protect your energy. In a noisy world, it's easy to get caught up in endless debates, distractions, and dramas that drain you. When you embrace silence, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. You focus on your goals, your growth, and your purpose. This focus is a kind of strength because it keeps you aligned with your values and priorities, even in the face of external pressures. When you build strength in silence, you're also building confidence. This isn't the loud, boastful kind of confidence that needs to be announced. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. It comes from knowing you've put in the work, that you've faced challenges head-on, and that you're prepared for whatever comes next. This confidence doesn't need to be validated by others because it's rooted in your own experience and effort. Silence doesn't mean isolation or inactivity. It's not about retreating from the world, but about creating a space where you can grow without interference. It's about being intentional with your time and energy, about choosing quality over quantity in your actions and interactions. This intentionality is a kind of strength because it allows you to make deliberate choices, rather than being swept along by the currents of the world. Ultimately, the strength you build in silence becomes evident in everything you do. It shows in the way you handle challenges, in the consistency of your efforts, and in the quality of your results. It's a strength that doesn't need to announce itself because it's woven into the fabric of who you are. Embrace the silence. Use it to grow, to reflect, and to prepare. Let it be the space where you cultivate resilience, discipline, and clarity. And when the time comes to step forward, your strength will be undeniable, not because you've shouted about it, but because you've lived it. In a world captivated by instant gratification and flashy displays of success, the value of consistency is often overlooked. Yet consistency is the foundation upon which all lasting achievements are built. It's not the dramatic bursts of effort or the fleeting moments of brilliance that lead to greatness, but the steady, deliberate, and disciplined actions repeated over time. While flash may grab attention momentarily, it's consistency that creates real, meaningful results. Consistency is about showing up every day, no matter the circumstances. It's easy to put in the effort when motivation is high, when the spotlight is on, or when there's immediate recognition. But true growth happens in those unglamorous moments when you're tired, uninspired, or unseen, and you choose to keep going anyway. That's the kind of effort that separates those who merely start from those who finish. The allure of flash is undeniable. It promises quick wins and instant rewards, but these are often fleeting. A single grand gesture might turn heads, but it rarely leads to sustainable success. Consistency, on the other hand, isn't about impressing people in the moment. It's about building something that lasts, something that grows stronger with time. It's the small, repeated actions that compound into remarkable results. Consider the way nature operates. A river doesn't carve through rock by a sudden burst of energy, it does so through the continuous flow of water over time. Similarly, consistency wears down obstacles, builds resilience, and achieves what momentary effort cannot. This principle applies to every area of life, whether it's mastering a skill, pursuing a career, or building relationships. Flash may provide a spark, but it's consistency that sustains the flame. One of the greatest strengths of consistency is that it builds trust and reliability. People who consistently deliver, who show up and do what they say they will, earn respect. They don't need to dazzle anyone with dramatic displays because their track record speaks for itself. In personal relationships, in the workplace, and in life, this reliability is invaluable. It creates a solid foundation upon which others can depend. Consistency also allows for steady improvement. Every time you repeat a task, practice a skill, or take a small step forward, you're refining your abilities and building momentum. Over time, these incremental gains add up in ways that a single burst of effort never could. A flash may give the appearance of progress, but it often lacks the substance that comes from consistent effort. The truth is, consistency isn't glamorous, and that's why it's often undervalued. It doesn't come with applause or immediate rewards. In fact, it often feels tedious and mundane. But this is where its power lies. While others are chasing the next big thing, those who commit to consistency are quietly laying the groundwork for something enduring. They understand that greatness isn't achieved in a single moment. It's the result of countless moments of hard work and dedication. Consistency also builds resilience. When you commit to a routine, you develop the ability to push through challenges, setbacks, and distractions. Flash may falter in the face of adversity, but consistency is unshaken. It's a steady force that keeps you moving forward, even when progress feels slow or obstacles seem insurmountable. This resilience is what allows you to keep going when others give up. In addition to its practical benefits, consistency is a mindset. It's a commitment to long-term growth over short-term gratification. It's the understanding that real success takes time, patience, and effort. This mindset isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. When you prioritize consistency over flash, you're also prioritizing substance over style. Flash may get attention, but it often lacks depth. Consistency, on the other hand, is rooted in authenticity. It's about doing the work because it matters, not because it's trendy or attention-grabbing. This authenticity resonates deeply with others because it's rare in a world that's so often focused on appearances. Consistency doesn't mean you won't have moments of brilliance or periods of intense effort. Those moments are important too, but they should be built upon a foundation of regular, consistent action. The flashes of brilliance are like highlights in a story, but consistency is the story itself. Without it, the highlights lose their meaning. Think about the people who have achieved lasting success in any field. Athletes like Tom Brady or Serena Williams didn't reach the pinnacle of their sports through occasional bursts of effort. They did it through years of consistent practice, discipline, and dedication. The same is true for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone else who has accomplished something meaningful. Their success wasn't built on flash, it was built on consistency. In your own life, the choice between consistency and flash often comes down to priorities. Do you want to impress others momentarily, or do you want to achieve something lasting? Flash may feel satisfying in the moment, but it rarely leads to fulfillment. Consistency, on the other hand, is deeply rewarding because it's rooted in purpose and progress. Choosing consistency also means embracing the process. It's about falling in love with the journey, not just the destination. When you focus on consistent effort, you're no longer chasing the highs of quick wins or dramatic results. Instead, you're finding joy in the act of doing, in the small steps that bring you closer to your goals. This shift in mindset is transformative because it allows you to stay motivated and engaged, even when the results are slow to come. Ultimately, consistency is about playing the long game. It's about understanding that real success doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come from a single moment of effort. It comes from showing up day after day and doing the work, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, and even when no one is watching. It's not about being the brightest star in the room for a fleeting moment. It's about being a steady, enduring presence that can't be ignored. While the world may celebrate flash, remember the power of consistency. It's not the most exciting path, but it's the one that leads to real, lasting success. It's the quiet, steady force that transforms dreams into reality, potential into achievement, and effort into excellence. Choose consistency, and let the results speak for themselves. In a world where self-promotion often takes center stage, humility stands as a rare and powerful virtue. The temptation to boast about accomplishments, exaggerate capabilities, or draw attention to oneself is everywhere, especially in an age dominated by social media and a constant quest for validation. Yet humility offers something deeper: the quiet strength to focus on the work rather than the applause, the ability to grow without needing constant recognition, and the wisdom to value substance over spectacle. Choosing humility over hype isn't just about avoiding arrogance, it's about building a foundation for true and lasting success. Humility begins with self-awareness. It's about recognizing that while you may have strengths and talents, you are also a work in progress. No matter how skilled or accomplished you are, there is always more to learn, always room to grow. Hype often blinds us to our limitations, convincing us that we're already at the top, but humility keeps us grounded. It reminds us that every achievement is part of a larger journey, and that success is not the end point but a step along the way. When you embrace humility, you become open to feedback and constructive criticism. You understand that no one achieves greatness alone and that the insights of others can help you improve. Hype, on the other hand, creates a shield that blocks out critique. It thrives on the illusion of perfection and invincibility, making it difficult to accept flaws or mistakes. Humility, by contrast, welcomes growth, knowing that every stumble is an opportunity to learn and get better. Humility also fosters genuine connections with others. People are drawn to those who are approachable, authentic, and sincere. When you lead with humility, you inspire trust and respect because your focus is not on self-promotion but on the value you bring to others. Hype may grab attention momentarily, but it often creates distance. It can come across as self-serving or insincere, eroding the relationships that matter most. Humility, however, builds bridges, creating meaningful bonds that stand the test of time. True humility doesn't mean downplaying your abilities or hiding your accomplishments. It's not about pretending to be less than you are. It's about letting your work speak for itself. You don't need to constantly announce your achievements because you trust that your efforts will be recognized in due time. This quiet confidence is far more impactful than any amount of self-promotion. It shows that you value action over talk, results over rhetoric. Humility also keeps you focused on the bigger picture. When you're caught up in hype, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. You become preoccupied with maintaining an image, chasing approval, or staying in the spotlight. Humility, however, redirects your energy toward the work itself, the effort, the discipline, and the purpose behind what you do. It shifts the focus from how can I be seen to how can I make a difference. This perspective not only leads to greater fulfillment but also drives more meaningful success. In moments of achievement, humility reminds you to stay grounded. It's tempting to let success inflate your ego or make you feel untouchable, but humility keeps you anchored. It reminds you that success is often the result of many factors: your own efforts, the support of others, and sometimes even a bit of luck. A humble mindset acknowledges this and allows you to celebrate your victories without losing perspective. It also prepares you for the inevitable ups and downs of life. When you're not defined by hype, you're better equipped to handle setbacks with grace and resilience. Humility is a sign of inner strength. It takes courage to resist the urge to boast, especially in environments that reward self-promotion. It requires confidence to let your work speak for itself, knowing that recognition will come when it's deserved. Hype often stems from insecurity, a need to prove oneself or mask doubts. Humility, however, comes from a place of self-assurance. It's the quiet understanding that your worth isn't determined by how loudly you shout, but by the impact you make. Consider some of the most respected leaders, innovators, and trailblazers throughout history. Their influence often came not from their ability to promote themselves, but from their humility. They focused on their mission, their vision, and their contributions rather than seeking personal glory. This humility not only enhanced their credibility but also amplified their impact, allowing their work to stand as their true legacy. Humility also brings a sense of peace. When you're not caught up in hype, you're free from the pressure to constantly prove yourself or outperform others. You can focus on your journey without being distracted by comparisons or competition. This freedom allows you to approach your work with authenticity and joy, knowing that you're driven by purpose rather than the need for validation. In professional settings, humility is an invaluable asset. It fosters collaboration, as it allows you to recognize and appreciate the contributions of others. It creates an environment where people feel valued and heard, leading to stronger teams and better outcomes. Hype, by contrast, often creates division. It focuses attention on the individual rather than the collective, undermining the sense of shared purpose that drives true success. In personal relationships, humility deepens connections. It allows you to listen, to empathize, and to engage with others in a meaningful way. It shows that you value people for who they are, not for what they can do for you. Hype, on the other hand, can make interactions feel transactional or shallow, driven by a need to impress, rather than a desire to connect. Humility is about legacy. Hype may create a moment of attention, but humility creates a lasting impact. When you focus on the work, the contribution, and the difference you're making, you leave something meaningful behind. Your legacy isn't about how many people noticed you, but about the lives you touched, the problems you solved, and the good you brought into the world. Choosing humility over hype is a commitment to authenticity, growth, and purpose. It's about valuing substance over style, long-term impact over short-term recognition. It's about trusting that your work will speak louder than your words, and that true success doesn't need to be announced, it simply is. In a world chasing hype, humility is a quiet but powerful force, one that builds respect, fosters growth, and leaves a legacy of real and enduring value. Humility is not about diminishing yourself, it's about rising above the need to constantly seek validation. It's a quiet strength, a steady confidence that values the journey over the spotlight, the substance over the spectacle, and the impact over the applause. While hype may dazzle for a moment, it's humility that leaves a lasting impression and builds a foundation for true greatness. When you choose humility, you're not just choosing to let your work speak for itself, you're choosing growth, authenticity, and purpose. You're freeing yourself from the pressures of competition and allowing your focus to remain on what truly matters. Humility ensures that your efforts create something meaningful, something real, something that endures. So let the world chase the fleeting highs of hype. Instead, root yourself in the strength of humility. Keep your head down, do the work, and let your actions write your story. Because in the end, it's not the noise you make, but the legacy you leave that defines who you are. Humility is your power, embrace it, and let it guide you to true success.